Hello, my friends, and today events are developing very interestingly. Today, Zelensky confirmed that the plans to dismiss Zaluzhny. So, is it necessary a reboot and a fresh start?
Послухайте, це кадрове питання, яке всередині нашої держави. І, безумовно, якщо ми говоримо про перезавантаження, то я хочу, щоб ви мене зрозуміли. Коли ми говоримо про перезавантаження, то ми говоримо про перезавантаження тих чи інших керівників держави, а не тільки одного чи іншого сектору. Тому що я думаю про це, про перезавантаження. Я в процесі в цьому. Тому що не можна сказати, ось одна людина, ви замінили і все, поїхало. Ні. Ні, це серйозна машина. І вона залежить від багатьох процесів. І якщо ми хочемо перемогти, ми всі повинні бути лідерами перемоги. Не втрачати надії, не опускати руки, брати енергію звідки хочете. І незалежно, який у вас сьогодні настрій, забудьте його вдома. Якщо ви живете вдома і у вас є така можливість, забудьте. Згадайте тих, хто виїхав за кордон з дітьми, згадайте тих, хто знаходиться в окопі, згадайте тих, хто на оборонно-промисловому комплексі 24/7 працює в 3 зміни, щоб виготовити снаряд. Згадайте тих і зрозумійте, ніхто з нас не може опускати руки. Тому, коли ми говоримо про перезавантаження, це серйозний підхід, і тільки глобальний я до нього можу ставитись і відповідними кроками.
Friends, it would be very interesting to hear your thoughts on this matter. Who will be next after Zaluzhny and how will the war unfold after his dismissal? Now, regarding the situation on the front. And today, the Russians continue to surprise. They attempted to break through in the Sumy region, precisely in the sector where they managed to advance on February 24th, 2022. So it's reported that the Ukrainian Armed Forces successfully repelled the infiltration attempt by a reconnaissance sabotage group.
On the outskirts of the Hlukov community in the Sumy region on February 3rd, territorial defense fighters stopped a Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group, said the commander of the Joint Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Naiv. According to him, the battle lasted for an hour and a half. The Russian sabotage and reconnaissance group was pushed far beyond the Ukrainian border.
The goal of this attempt is unknown. Perhaps they are trying to tie up our forces along the entire border with Russia in this way. Moreover, shelling from Russian territory on the border villages of Chernihiv, Sumy, and Kharkiv regions continues. On the front, the activity is quite high, with the Ukrainian Armed Forces repelling 59 attacks in a day. So the situation worsens significantly in some directions. Let's start with the Kupiansk direction. Here, the occupiers have halted attacks because they couldn't break through to Synkivka and suffered significant losses. The same situation is in the Avdiivka area. They continue intense shelling, but due to substantial losses, they have started regrouping and new attacks are not observed. After yesterday's confirmed success of the Ukrainian Armed Forces in the Avdiivka area, today there is information about the shelling of the village of Krokhmalny by the Russians. Therefore, there is a possibility that the Ukrainian Armed Forces are conducting counterattacks here as well. Hence, we are expecting successes in this section of the front. Meanwhile, there is new unfortunate information from foreign media outlets that the Russians are once again bringing in new reserves for the advancement in Kupiansk.
500 tanks. More than 600 fighting vehicles. hundreds of howitzers, 40,000 troops. According to Ukraine's Eastern Command, Russia has assembled a huge field army in eastern Ukraine opposite the free Ukrainian city of Kupiansk. It's obvious what this army aims to do: retake a huge swathe of Kharkiv Oblast that the Russians briefly occupied in 2022, until a powerful Ukrainian counteroffensive liberated most of the oblast late that year.
However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces quickly refuted this information.
Forbes exaggerated about 500 Russian tanks. They don't have so many here in Kupiansk, but they have a lot of personnel.
In the Svatove direction, as before, it's relatively calm, with no changes in the front line and minimal shelling. However, the Ukrainian Armed Forces claim that there has been an increase in the activity of enemy reconnaissance and sabotage groups.
Increased activity of the enemy sabotage and reconnaissance group in the Kupiansk and Svatove directions. They are constantly trying to get to the very front. The situation in the direction is such that you need to be very careful.
In the Kreminna direction, the occupiers attempted 3 assaults in the Terny village area, but didn't achieve success. The front line remains unchanged, but there is a significant amount of artillery and mortar shelling, so aviation hasn't been deployed in this direction so far. In the Siversk direction, the occupiers didn't succeed in the Serebrenka forestry and ceased all attacks. Currently, only shelling is reported and the front line remains unchanged. In the Bakhmut direction, the occupiers continue their offensive actions in the areas of Vuhledar and Klishchiivka, but the front line remains unchanged. In the Avdiivka direction, so the occupiers conducted 31 attacks in a day, displaying maximum activity. So they realized that the operation to capture Avdiivka is nearing its completion. Therefore, they are deploying a significant amount of manpower and attempting to advance in the northern part of Avdiivka to cut off the support for Ukrainian Armed Forces units in the city. Fierce battles are taking place. Today, they are attacking Bakhmutivka, Svatove, Tonenke, Severne, Pervomaiske, and Nevelske. So it's evident that they have a substantial force creating tension on the flanks to prevent Ukrainian Armed Forces from reinforcing challenging areas of Avdiivka. So this is their strategy to exhaust Ukrainian Armed Forces and capture the city. However, so far, our units are holding their ground, although the situation is very challenging. In the Marinka area, the occupiers continue their advance on Georgiivka and Novomykhailivka. Within a day, 5 attacks were conducted, supported from the air. However, these didn't help them, and the front line remains unchanged. In the Vuhledar direction, the occupiers have once again halted, and no new attacks in the Zolotaneva area are reported. However, attempts to expand control over the territory near the village have resumed. So the shelling along the front line continues as before. In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers are conducting attacks near Robotine and intensively shelling the village. So it seems they didn't appreciate Zelensky's visit to Robotine and decided to urgently regain control over this territory. The situation there is indeed complex, but there is no information about Russian successes. In the Kherson direction, shelling of the right bank continues without interruption. Periodic attempts to storm the village of Kreminna are reported, but they are not successful. So, as I mentioned in previous updates, if the Ukrainian Armed Forces have started using drones with artificial intelligence, so significant successes on this front are expected soon. Such drones can neutralize electronic warfare systems and then actively operate with conventional FPV drones. This has indeed happened, and Russians have started reporting on it.
Attention! They report from the Kherson direction. The armed forces of Ukraine began to test new tactics. First, AI FPV drones are launched, which fly without external control and cannot be affected by electronic warfare. First of all, these drones with AI, most likely by outgoing radiation, hit our electronic warfare equipment and drone control points. Then, after the suppression of our electronic warfare, there is a raid by conventional FPV drones on our weapons, armored fighting vehicles and aircraft.
As we can see, such tactics can lead to significant successes and even the expansion of footholds. So today it's crucial for similar breakthroughs to occur on other fronts to halt the Russian advance and maximize their destruction. And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.